welcome to Futbol the Europa podcast. And today, alongside me once again are Sean and Carlos. Thank you very much, guys, for being here.
Yeah,
Thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you guys over here. And so, Real Madrid just won the 34th La Liga title, and they made it quite an exciting race. They won 10 games in a row, and they were 1 point behind Barcelona, and eventually managed to win the league by 5 points difference over Barcelona. So, what are your thoughts about that, Carlos?
I think we definitely came back from the restart very well. I think we were mentally more focused, and I think we came in, with lesser. I would say we came in with a little more calmness. I would say because we had the same manager for the whole time, and I think in Barcelona system they just got a new manager in January, and then the lockdown happened. So I think that affected them a lot, and I also think that the fact that the squad is very unbalanced affected them, especially having to play every 3 days. And the other aspect is I think they were not mentally, into it as much as the previous seasons, which I think is also a factor because of the fact that they are not a very mentally strong team. If you look at historically the way they've lost in the Champions League, especially, they're not that historically mentally strong, and that's where they lost a lot of stuff. Um, so yeah, I think overall, I think basically we came back from the lockdown very strong, and we executed our plan very well. And we used our players, almost all our players, probably except Bale and James, we used almost everybody really well. You have to give a big shout out to the fitness coaches, for focusing on not just the physical aspect of the game, but also the mental aspect of the game, and also great leadership. We were able to show, especially from our senior ups, especially Ramos, in the absence of a key figure like Cristiano Ronaldo, who's also a big game leader. It was good to see that Ramos, take up the mental. Take up even the leadership aspect that Cristiano Ronaldo brought to the team, and ensuring that the team was very well focused for the La Liga run. They seem to take every game as a final, and seem to approach it similar to the way in which we have approached the Champions League before, where it's a do or die game. You win, and that's about it. So I think that mental fortitude helped us a lot.
Yeah, so those are interesting points that you raised, and I also noticed similar aspects of the club's mentality and gameplay and everything else that contributed towards the victory. So, do you think that Barcelona not having players under 30 and having lesser squad depth compared to Real Madrid, does that play into some way?
I didn't think in this particular race, that was the issue. I just felt that their squad was it's developed in a very odd manner where it's not balanced at all. So if you think about it, like playing Griezmann wide is not the best idea. Uh, they've not really got a chance to adapt themselves to Setyen's system. Setyen himself does not have the kind of players that he would like. Not to mention that the fact that I think the players clearly know that Setien was not the choice. I think or at least not the first choice. And I believe this, as per reports, the speculation is that the players are okay with Valverde being sacked if Xavi came in, which did not happen. So I think all of that kind of has developed a friction between them. And the other thing is, I think also the fact that the Barcelona board has been struggling financially, and the fact that in order for them to show I think money on the books in between this lockdown period with matches happening back to back to back, they had to pursue the Arthur Pjanic swap deal. I think that also kind of affected the morale of the club. They definitely lost one player in Arthur who could help them, because he did seem disinterested towards the end of it, and that also affect the players in the squad. I'm not sure whether it's that whether the long term planning in terms of having replacing your older guard is the main issue over here. Though in the long run that is a problem for Barcelona. But if I'm specifically talking about this La Liga, I just think that uh, it's got to do with a lot of bad decision making before, in terms of keeping Valverde if they were not interested in having him throughout the entire year, hiring Kike Setien, who was your third choice, especially considering that the players were only okay with Xavi coming in. The fact that they assumed that Xavi would come in was, I think, really stupid because Xavi had clearly shown his support for the Victor Font, I believe, the presidential candidate who's going to oppose this board in the next presidential elections. So considering all that, I don't think they made a lot of smart moves. And I think that even though they had some advantage of like Suarez coming in and injured players coming in, they were not able to use it really well because deep down I felt that the squad is very unbalanced and they don't know the perfect system or perfect 11 or the perfect way to implement what they want to do. They're still heavily dependent on Messi, and that affects them.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. We can see that by the goal contribution, like throughout La Liga, Messi has contributed towards, I guess, 45 goals in total, 20 assists and 25 goals, if I'm not wrong. Maybe I'm missing one or two assists. And Real Madrid, on the other hand, they had like only 68 goals scored, which is uh, one of the lowest scoring seasons for Real Madrid, and they only conceded 23 goals, which has been the best defense in almost a decade. Um, so it's pretty evident that Zidane focused more on like winning games. Like you can just win game 1-0, 2-0. You have to focus on defense. We'll get a set piece. We'll get a penalty. Maybe we'll get a through ball, or we'll get a goal somehow. But we have to be very solid on defense, and that showed in their that is reflected in the stats as well. And I think we can move on to the next topic for the time being, which is the EPL top four. Like that's been an interesting race, and last night when United versus Chelsea was an interesting game. The game in 3-1 in favor of Chelsea, but I guess uh, it was a FA Cup game. I guess it wasn't the league
Yeah, it
game,
was an
but
FA Cup game, not the league. Yep.
yeah, but still, the league has been very tight, and it is still unclear if Leicester City or Chelsea or United will make it to the top four, or one of them will be left behind. And even for the Europa League spots, there is a pretty close battle between Tottenham Hotspurs and Wolves. So, what are your thoughts about that, Sean?
Yeah, come again. What was the question?
So, it was about like there is a pretty tight race in the
Oh,
EPL
no, no,
top
yeah,
four
okay.
and top six. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts
So,
about that?
definitely it was. I mean, I just kept close tips on Barcelona, Real Madrid, but I I'll be honest. Before the break, I thought Barcelona had the title in the bag, and I just I trailed off following it before during the break, and just after, and next thing I know, Real Madrid won the title. So hey, I'm really happy because uh I was, but personally as a Zidane fan, I was a bit apprehensive about him
Mhm.
going all of a sudden going back after he said, "Oh, I'm cool winning 3 Champions League," and then I'm just glad he was just able to just add more to his title after everyone. There was this bit of criticism about Zidane where it was about Cristiano Ronaldo carrying him to most of the titles, but now he got La Liga after they sold Cristiano Ronaldo. So yeah, that's pretty much my take on it. I don't have that much to put input because I semi stopped following La Liga after the break. I was more mindly following just Man United.
Yeah. So yeah, coming back to Man United and EPL. So, what are your thoughts about the top four race and the Europa League race? How do you see the tables turning? Because Man United have tough battle from Chelsea and Leicester, and for Europa League, Tottenham Hotspurs are in a close battle with Wolves. So, how do you see that table turning out?
It's I let me just, before I make any statistical mistakes, let me pull up the EPL table. But if I'm not wrong, we have a pretty smooth match leading into the end of it. The only downside was that they had a game in the bag, and they still do, to actually break into the top four and jump over Chelsea and Leicester. So, like, with 2 games left and the last one being Leicester City, um,
Yeah.
unfortunately Chelsea have 2 games as well, but over Leicester City. If we beat them, there's definitely, I mean, it's definite fourth place spot. If my math is right, if we beat, yeah, because we're both sitting on 62, and if we beat them or even draw, yeah, and we don't, and the other game for Man United would be, the game for Man United would be West Ham, and I don't think, from what I've been seeing with David Moyes and over at West Ham, it doesn't, he has he's just been keeping them afloat, so hopefully we bounce back from this FA Cup semi-final defeat and get those points and jump over Leicester to make what you call it, to make that last final day game a little easier.
Yeah.
The goal difference are definitely salvageable. So, like, if if we perform really well against West Ham, and we say we lose 1-0 against Leicester City, we definitely still sit on 4. So, fingers crossed. Hopefully that match comes through. And about Europa League, I'm looking forward to it. Watching Wolves play. I think they're still in as well. So,
But Wolves might be
but
left out because of Tottenham Hotspur. They're in tight competition with Tottenham, so that's an interesting space to watch.
yeah, and I think Wolves has definitely been doing a better job than Tottenham. But no, I think they're currently still. Are they currently
No,
still in the
currently,
Europe?
since
They're
Mourinho
currently
has
still.
taken over, like,
Oh yeah, Wolves are still currently in the Europa League. So that's. I think it's those are the 2 teams I really look forward to. I mean, there's Inter Milan as well, and that'll be a bit weird if we played against Lukaku again, and Ashley Young and Sanchez, but they still look like good spread in the Europa League game. So I'm excited to see Wolves perform well as well. I think our game against Lask give us a gave us a good footing over for this quote unquote second leg. I think so. It's not really a single leg fixture. Looking
yeah,
forward to that, and yeah, I think for the EPL, I mean, titles already decided. Liverpool finally won. So I mean, uh,
yeah,
the meme is over, but it was fun while it lasted. I mean, at the end of the day, regardless as a Manchester United fan or not, at the end of it, as a football fan, you can't deny good football, I guess, and they have played good football. So.
yeah. It was a deserved win. And
Hmm.
Carlos, would you want to weigh into that before we move on to discussion of Arsenal and how they won against two of the best sides in EPL?
Yep. Just to give my take on the top four, obviously Manchester United have been playing really, really, really great. Since the lockdown, with Matic and Pogba coming back in. Actually, Pogba coming back in and Matic coming back to form. They've been really good, and they seem to have found the balance.
Even Bruno Fernandes,
Also,
I guess, he's been phenomenal.
Bruno Fernandes has obviously
Bruno
been
has
phenomenal
definitely been the spark.
pre-lockdown. But I think what really changed, where they became a complete contender for the top four, was after the lockdown, where with both Pogba and Matic coming in and Greenwood also starting to score the goals. It's really
Yeah,
sad that they screwed up in the last match, where they could have actually leapfrogged in that match itself. Uh, but Jose Mourinho, by beating Leicester, gave Manchester United the biggest push for the top four that he couldn't do in his
yeah.
last season. So it's
He
like,
helped three of the clubs at the same time.
yeah, yeah. So it was fantastic help from him. Obviously, with the last game being in Leicester, it's all advantage Manchester United. And the fact that they lost 3-0 also because of that, now the goal difference is the same. So, and from that perspective, all is great. In terms of the Europa League, it goes to only the fifth team. So I'm going to say, even though Tottenham are fifth right now, they have played one extra game. So for me, it's between it's most likely going to be Wolves. I expect Wolves to get the Europa League place in perspective of the
Yeah,
table.
but Tottenham
Obviously,
can
obvious.
qualify for the playoffs then.
I don't think so. There is a playoffs. I think if I remember correctly, right, as per the new ruling system, the fifth place team qualify for Europa League. The winner of the FA Cup qualify for the Europa League, and the winner of the League Cup qualify for the Europa League. So unless like somebody like already, oh okay, actually since Manchester City has already won the League Cup, that helps them. So there's a possibility they can get in through the sixth spot also. So it'll be interesting to see. If they do make it, it'll be nice for them to make it into the Europa League next season, so they get some sort of European competition, and it helps them to attract a little more players, and it'll make EPL more or less more a little more exciting to watch with all the top six teams having to focus on a European competition also. But yeah, overall, I felt Manchester United have been going really, really strong, and Chelsea have been more or less strong, except here and there. But Leicester's drop is incredible. I think they won only one game since the lockdown opened. One game and one draw, I believe. It's amazing how badly that they have been performing. And I don't know. This is very similar to the Liverpool collapse under Brendan Rodgers. So I don't know. It seems bad for him that he has had two collapses, one for the league title and one for a top four push. Where they were very strongly expected to be in the top four. But yeah, I guess you need to lose some before you start actually winning. So uh, yeah, so we'll see how they pick up in the next season. And considering their financial status, they should be able to retain their stars. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, that's pretty good sum up of all the uh, EPL teams right now. And Arsenal put up quite a performance against Man City and Liverpool, and they managed to get a win against both of those. So, how do you see Michael Arteta performing at Arsenal, and are there any hopes for them in the upcoming season?
I think Mikel Arteta was a good signing. Generally, as a manager, I felt he has a very clear cut idea of how he wants to play, and the fact that he's been in Arsenal, and the fact that he's been an EPL player for quite some time, and also with Man City, he has good experience and knows the league really, really well. It's difficult to really say too much right now because it really depends on what kind of players they can attract and what kind of players they can retain. Their problem is definitely not necessary. It's not only managerial, or it's more to do with their recruitment strategy. They'll have to try and pull off, a leaf out of Liverpool's book. When Jurgen Klopp first came, he made a lot of smart signings. They managed to sell players really well. I remember they managed to sell even players like Christian Benteke for a very good price, even though he had a very bad season when he came to Liverpool, especially under Klopp. And they managed to sell well and buy smartly. If you think about it, their forward line, which is the most significant aspect of the Liverpool squad right now, was pretty cheap. I don't think so. They got any player for more. They had to spend more than 50 million for any of those three players. So yeah, they need to improve the way and also they need to definitely improve the contract situations with players. Uh, they're going to find it very hard to sell off Ozil. They're going to find it, it'll be difficult to keep Aubameyang also because if he wants to, he has only 1 year left on his contract. If a good club comes, he'll want to go, and if they don't come, he'll probably try to milk them for the salary or wages or anything like that. So they'll be very smart in how they handle it, and they need to have a longer plan, like look at slowly coming up the ladder and getting your recruitment first correct. They have a lot of good youngsters. That's a good start. The problem is they should be able to keep them. So I think they have an advantage because they have a lot of youngsters. If they show faith in them and start playing them continuously, I think they'll be able to retain the youngsters for a longer period of time than their stars, and they'll have less contractual problems with them. And in such a system, Arteta is very useful. I think he can develop young players, and given time, he can develop young players and he can slowly bring them up. So they show patience to him, and they are smart in the way they recruit. and the way they scout, I think it will help them.
Yeah, and last night I was reading a tweet where uh, it was said that Arteta can speak 7 languages, and he was like, there was a video of him speaking in 3 languages in the span of 10 seconds to 3 different players. Like he was speaking French to Pepe, and then he was screaming in English, and then he was uh, screaming in Spanish to Ceballos, and that was pretty interesting because if you have that like one-to-one relationship with each player and you can speak the same tongue, a lot. That's a lot of support and help, I guess. Like psychologically, you can understand each other better and you can communicate your message more efficiently, and that plays a part. Um, so yeah, Arsenal and Chelsea will be playing each other in the FA Cup final. So do you have any predictions for that?
Uh, I'm going to say Arsenal because I'm not sure whether Chelsea would want it enough, and I think Arsenal really need it to qualify for Europa. So I think the need factor will push it in their favor. I believe. So I'm going to say Arsenal. It's a weird call. I
And
understand
what
most
about
people
you,
would say
Sean?
Arsenal, but
Sean, would you like to weigh into
Um,
this?
yeah, no, I'm here. I'm here. No, no. I realized I was muted and I was trying to answer the question.
Okay.
No, I think Arsenal are currently on a good form of streak playing against bigger opponents. I mean, they beat Liverpool, they beat Man City, to get to the finals, and I think Arteta sort of found a vibe in playing against bigger teams. So my money's on Arsenal as well.
All right. So I would go for a draw because I think it will be decided on penalties and extra time and stuff like that. So usually big sides when they meet, like it's not like big side, but top four sides meet, and the way they have been playing so far, I don't know. I think it will be a draw, maybe 1-1 or maybe 0-0 or something like that. So anyhow, we'll see how that plays out. And now we can move on to the UCL, which is going to be one leg playoffs, and all of them will be played in Portugal, except the second legs, which are remaining from the round of 16. And starting from Real Madrid, they are going to face Man City, and they are uh, 2-1 down. So, do you think Real Madrid can make a comfortable comeback, or will it be a night of terror for both the teams?
I think that
let's
yeah, I think personally that Zidane would be prepared after that fast of losing to Man City and coming off the La Liga win. I'm hoping to beat Man City as well because they got away cheaply with how all those finances and all those things. I didn't they got away quite easily with a slap on their wrist. So they personally I think they shouldn't be in the UCL. But we'll see what happens after that Real Madrid match.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts about that, Carlos?
just give me a second.
Sure. So, as Carlos is,
But yeah, no, I'll cover the silence.
yeah,
But yeah, I think
it's better to be
I, I
talking.
think
Yeah.
Man City definitely. I don't know how they got away with that with that whole 2 year ban thing, and then they pulled it back. But overall, I reckon that Zidane's gonna comfortable with it. Apart from Gareth Bale, he's being paid heaps to sit on that bench, um,
Yeah.
right now, and he's not that young either. So I don't know what clubs are picking up on such extraordinary wages.
That's the
And
reason why they cannot download him right now, because they wished you recover the 100 million which they paid for him, or maybe even sell him for like 80 million or something like that. But there is no buyer for him because especially after the coronavirus pandemic. Clubs don't have that kind of money anymore. So I don't know if any club will be willing to splash that kind of money for out of form Gareth Bale right now.
But I didn't expect any club to pick Gareth Bale up at all. But but yeah, hopefully Zidane has the winning mentality in the team again, apart from Bale. And yeah, hopefully that works out. Carlos?
Yes, I think that this game will be very interesting. I'm going to predict that the winner of this tie is likely to win the UCL. I genuinely feel that this is the most interesting tie that is left out over here. So I think the fact that Real Madrid has a very good defense against Man City's attack will be interesting. The fact that Man City's defense is not that great will also be interesting, since if we manage to score one goal, it is quite possible. Not one goal, we need to score two goals. Right? So if we manage to score two goals, it's quite possible we can shut them out. So if we score an early goal, that itself would make it cagey for them, and I would expect them just in quintessential Pep fashion. I don't think so. Uh, he will play. He will try to defend his lead. He will still try to attack, though maybe the kind of cautious attack that he used in the first leg, he might use that. But if he score one early, I think then they will try to come out a little more to regain control of the match, and they will be cagey. I think so. So it'll be interesting to see how this see the match for me personally, and I am going to say that it will be interesting to see the mental aspect of it, how much the teams want it. It's no secret that Zidane was clearly targeting the La Liga. I'm pretty sure the players also would have preferred to win the La Liga over the UCL if they had a choice. So I want to see how they come up to this game from a mental point of view. Do they feel that they've achieved the objectives of the season, or they're just going to rest on the laurels? Obviously, Man City side will be completely different. They have lost the league to a huge margin. They were not expecting to be in the UCL next season, so I felt that they were mentally, I think they were a little more prepared for giving it their all in this particular season. I don't know how that is going to change based on the decision. The Obviously the other aspect is, I think, this current format is very good for smaller teams and teams that have not won before, because just one leg, there's really no home or away crowd or anything like that. It's just go out, perform, and it's got to do with more to do with your nerves and your ability to execute your tactical plan and ensure.
Yeah.
And obviously, you hope that your tactical plan is better than the other team's tactical plan, and then just about executing it and holding your nerves. So since it's one game, I think anything's possible. But I'm going to predict that the winner of this tie will, I think, end up winning the UCL.
Yeah, and Real Madrid have like momentum on their side. They haven't lost any game for, I don't know, 12, 20 games. I don't know. Before lockdown, I don't remember their stats before the lockdown, but for like past 11 games, they haven't lost a single one. And also, Zidane has been very creative with his lineups, like 39 different lineups consecutively. So he hasn't repeated a single starting 11 for like 39 games now. So we'll see how that plays out. And there are other some interesting fixtures, I guess. One of them being Atlanta and PSG, and then Napoli and Barcelona, and Lyon and Juventus. So there could be some upsets over there, I guess.
Oh, definitely. I think, like I said, this is a good chance for a smaller team or a team that never won it to basically kill it all, because it's just one leg. You don't have too much pressure. You don't have to worry about how do we. You don't have this tactical problem of let's try to not lose in the first leg if because we are away, and then kill it off but at home in the second leg or anything like that. Just this is it. Go out and play. So it really for me is the tactical aspect. I'd like to say that obviously there are some teams that have advantages, certain sort of advantages. For example, PSG have not played for quite some time, so that is bad for them. I think Bayern Munich. I think if purely if I want
PSG
to
have been playing. They have been playing against like very I don't want to disrespect any team, but they're playing against sides which are not of the same caliber as likes of Atlanta. So they are like playing friendlies
Yep.
with second tier or third tier teams. So they are winning 9
Yep,
nil
and they have
and something like that.
Yep, and they have two cup finals before they come in, so they'll have some competitive matches. But it's.
Yeah.
But I would still say obviously they have a disadvantage. Purely in terms of on paper, if you want me to say, I think Bayern Munich are the favorites for me. Though I think the winner of this tie will take up the UCL. But purely on paper, I think Bayern Munich are the favorites because they've been playing fantastic under Flick. And on top of that, I think they have played enough competition to be match fit, but also have had the right kind of rest that you probably need before this. Still, I expect the winner of the Madrid UCL tie to move forward. But yes, definitely any small team club should come into this competition with a lot of confidence and no fear. If they come into the competition with a lot of confidence and no fear, they may lose 5-0 or they may just win 2-0 and reach the next round and follow that approach, and you never know, you may end up winning the whole thing.
Yep. That's pretty insightful. And would you like to add something over that, Sean? Would you like to give your predictions regarding who could win the UCL this season?
Um, I'm I'm no fussed in terms of UCL because Man U's not playing in it. But nah, jokes
Yeah,
aside, I think I definitely think it's a different playing ground with how it's all been set up, and hopefully a new team rises up. But we know different teams of different calibers. I don't know. I have a feeling it's a Juventus might pull something off. So yeah.
yeah. So they are 1-0 down to Leon, and they have to be careful not to be too uh,
Yeah,
lenient
yeah. I think
against the other team because upsets do happen in UCL, and once you have teams as motivated as in the current times, because it's it's the best opportunity, as Carlos stated,
I
because back in the day, Wolfsburg beat Real Madrid like 2-0, and if it was one leg tie, that was over, that was it. So there will be some upsets, and we'll see how it goes. So eventually, who do you think will get the trophy final words, Carlos?
Juventus. I think Ronaldo might pull something off with Leon, and then looking looking forward to that. Otherwise, my second pick would definitely be over Real Madrid. That's those two.
Real Madrid and Juventus, pretty
Uh,
good. And yep, go ahead,
For me,
Carlos.
definitely it's between Man City. For me, it's definitely between Man City and Real Madrid. I think these two teams, I think will one of these two teams, I believe, will end up winning. Is what I'm going to think. Just on a side note, okay, I personally have never been very. I personally don't rate Ballon d'Or or FIFA Player of the Year that much because it's a very lopsided award. But I love the conversations around Ballon d'Or and FIFA Player of the Year because it's really funny at times. So it'll be very interesting if Barcelona wins the UCL just for the Ballon d'Or conversation that's going to happen because then there's no clear advantage. I was just thinking right now, the only advantage right now, as of today, if you want to think who are probably the top runners for Ballon d'Or, it would be Cristiano Ronaldo, Ramos, and Lewandowski because these are the only three teams that have won. I don't think so. It'll be anybody from Liverpool because they don't have a chance to win the UCL. So and also, I don't think so. There's a clear cut. Maybe Van Dijk. Okay, you could add Van Dijk into the list also. But since Liverpool are not going to win the UCL, if these three teams also don't win the UCL and Barcelona wins it, especially if Barcelona wins it, because then Messi's name comes into the picture, you have like a 5-horse race, you could say. Just for that part, if Real Madrid lose to Man City, I just want to see Barcelona winning, even though I don't like them, just to have fun during the Ballon d'Or conversations.
Yeah, Messi has like good stats in terms of assists and goals, and maybe it can be beneficial for him to win the UCL in order to win the Ballon d'Or. But right now, I guess Ramos and Benzema, both of the Real Madrid players, can also be counted into the conversation. And yeah, it depends on how the UCL goes, and it can always steer from there on. So we'll see how it goes.
I think as
So
a
I guess,
marketing, I
yeah.
think No, I was saying I think there'll be a marketing issue. If you think about it, each club can only market like who one player who they think is great. Like when I remember in 2014 when Germany won it, Bayern Munich focused everything on Neuer. So it'll only be one. If Real Madrid win both, then there's a very good chance they can market multiple players because most probably two or three Real Madrid players will make the top three. So
Yeah, I think
that's why I say
they will support both Ramos and Benzema because that's what the vibe has been from the fans and from the club itself and from Zidane and from the other players. Like they all rank those players like pretty high and count them in the discussion of players. Like Benzema has been compared to Messi for Pichichi, and Ramos has been like scoring 11 goals this season. He has been the best like defender in La Liga, and so yeah, let's see how that plays out. It's an interesting space to watch, and maybe we are all done for the day. I guess there is no other topic left to discuss, and we are almost out of time. So, any last remarks from you guys?
Hala Madrid.
Real Madrid. And anything you want to
Definitely
say,
Hala
Sean?
Madrid. Definitely
Hala
Hala
Madrid.
Madrid. And
Yep.
yeah, hopefully De Gea bounces back, and he's still a good keeper, and hopefully Manchester United gets the top three, top four.
Yep. Let's see how that plays out, and hopefully we will be back by next week to discuss more in football. And thank you so much for listening. And yep,
Thanks for
enjoy your
having
life.
us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers.